Okay, good morning. Welcome. Uh, in our last class, I think we looked at drop down menu. So today we are going to be looking at the transition. Transition. Okay, we're going to be looking at transition. Now, transition. What's CSS transition? Okay, I want to talk about transition. We are talking about they are like smooth animations of that runs between two states of an element. I get it now. Now, if you have, for instance, you have a box, maybe you can have maybe two colors running in between that box. I get my point. With different kinds of style. So such thing we look at it as an transition. Okay, enhancing in interactivity and user experience. Transition can animate properties like colors, size, positions. Now, to be able to do that, we use what we call selector and pseudocode classes to achieve these transitions so that all of them can work in a way how you like it. So that is what we'll be diving into. So for we to achieve that, first of all, we'll first of all create. Let's go to our folder. Let's create so I'm going to add here. I'm going to add here and name this folder as transition. I'll name this folder transition. Transition. The name of the folder. Then I'm going to open a new script there. Then I'm going to have the HTML structure. The HTML structure. Then I'll have the head. Close this. Okay, so having that, I'm going to create a box. I'm going to create a box. Let's say, for instance, I have a box like. Let me create a div. This is a div class. Inside this div class, I now have a class equals to. I will name it box. Name it box. Then I will close the div. Now, I'm going to be using internal CSS to achieve this target. Okay, to set up a transition element so that you see. I'm going to be using internal CSS to do that. So below the title tag, I'm going to open a style tab, then close the style. Then the next thing I'm going to do here, you know very well that the box we have here, this is a class, right? Because this is a class, I'm going to use what we call dots box. Then open my curly brace, and then I will set the width of this one, of this div I just opened here, because I want to set up the transition mode or a transition method. That is the essence of today's class, just to know how to set up a transition on your web page. Now I'm going to set up this to be 100 pixel. 100 pixel. I'll put the height the height still to be 100 pixel. Then I will have what you call background color. Background color, I will set it to be blue. Then I will have what you call now. I'll have to introduce transition now. Then what will be the transition? It's going to be background color. Background color is going to be 0.5 seconds. 0.5 seconds. Now this means that it will be showing a background color of what? 0.5 seconds. Now what is the background color? Our background color here is blue. That the background color is going to be showing. Then after that, we need to hover this. I'll set an hover. I'll put dot box. Then I'll put full column, and then I will hover with my opening tag. Then I will set a new background that it will be hovering with. A new background color that it will hover with. And then I'll let the color be green. And then that's it. So if I achieve this target, if I do this and I go to, let me save now. This is what you code inside transition folder. So I'm going to put here to be transition.html. Okay, so save and go to it inside this and then open it. Now if I open it, you are going to see, if I hover on it, you see that it changes. If I remove it, you see that it's not changing. Go back to the background. If I hover on it, you see that it's changing. Now what is the reason? The reason is because we have set the hovering background to be what? Green. And that's why anytime I hover on it, you see that it will turn to what? To green. Alright? That is another first set, what we call transition. Now there are other transition properties we have as well. We have other transition properties. Okay. Now this first one, we have transition properties. This first one we just did now is what? One of the transition properties we have. Okay. The second one we're going to have transition by duration. We have another properties of transition is transition by what? Duration. Now we are going to see how we are going to set that to be done. Transition by duration, which is one of the transition property, allows you to determine how long it will take to complete the transition from one CSS property to the other. Okay, that is how long, the time it will take before the next one will be shown or will display. That is what we are talking about. So the second type of transition we are going to look at is what? Transition by what? Duration. Okay? Transition by duration. So we are going to have, let me have this again. I'll go down to my HTML tag. This is it. I want to duplicate this. The difference is that I'm going to add one inside this class so that I can differentiate between this class and this one. Okay? I'm going to add just one to differentiate it. So, in achieving that, I will go back again to my CSS, internal CSS, then I will introduce dot box 1, then I'll have my width too. I'll set my width to be 100%. Set my width to be 100%. I'll set my height too to be what? To be 100%. Set my height to be 100%. Sorry, 100 pixel, not percent. I'm using pixel. Then my background too is important. I'm going to set my background to be background color to be what? Blue. We are going to be using blue all through. Okay, I'm going to set it to be blue. Then I'm going to set my transition. I'm going to set transition. I'm going to set transition property. transition property will be, I'll declare it to be width. I'll make it width. That is the way it will show, okay? The way it will display. Then I will have what to call again, transition by duration. Transition duration. Okay? Then I'll put it on 0.5 seconds. So if that is done, I will close my curly brace here, and then I'll go down and hover it. Box 1. Then I'll set this hover, and then I'm going to put what? The width. This is the width. The width, that is how long it will cover. The level in which the width will cover. So I will just put 200 pixels. So if that is done, then I'll close it. Then I'll go back to my main output and then refresh my page. You see that? You see that? Okay, let me put something. I will break this. Let me break this. Let me put break so that you can see the difference. You see that? You see that? It's extending. That is what we call transition duration. Okay? The time it takes to extend will take up to what? 0.5 seconds. Alright? That is what we mean by it allows you to determine how long it will take to complete the transition from one CSS property to the other. That is what it is all about. Are we clear? Let's say again, I want to use a different color. I want to apply a different color. I want to apply a different color, but still transition by duration. I want to apply the same different color. So if I have this pasted here, if I have this pasted here, I copy this pasted here, then I change this to 2. Change this to 2. I want to maintain this from beginning to this place. I will maintain it. The only thing I'm going to be changing is what? It's just the duration. I mean the width. The width I'm going to change. The only thing I'm changing here is the width I am changing. So let's say, for instance, here I now come here and put background color. Then I decide to put green. Then I close this. Remember, this was changed to 2, so I need to change this to 2. Right? Then I'll go back and run it. You see that? You see how fast it is. But look at this first one. It takes a little time before it does what? It appears. But look at this one, just appearing. Sharp. Are you seeing it? So that is the difference. Let me assume something. Let's say if I add width here and I extend it to 200 pixel. You see that? That's changed to green. So you see the difference. So those are the difference. This one has no color. Those are the difference. So we call this what? Transition by what? Duration. Okay? Call it transition by duration. So the next one we're going to be looking at is transition timing function. Or transition timing function. Now the transition timing function is a property that allows you to determine the speed. It's a property that allows you to determine the speed of change and the manner of change during the transition. Like changing should be fast at the beginning and slow at the end. Okay? Are you with me? Changing should be what? Fast at the beginning and slow at the what? At the end. We call that type of transition what? Transition timing function. Okay? It's going to be transition timing function. So let's see the practical. Let's get the practical now. So I go down I'm going to break this. Okay, I'll put this down. Then I'll copy it and maintain this one is going to be 3 now. Alright, so it's going to be 3. Then I will go to my CSS and then I will now apply this one again. Now I'm going to have dot box. What box do I have here? What box do I have? Box 3, right? I'm going to have box 3. I'm going to have box 3. So I will have box 3. I'll have box 3 there. Then I'm going to set what? The width. We'll maintain what? Stay on 100 what? Pixel. We'll maintain height on 100 pixel. Then I will set what? The background to again. I'll set the background color to be blue. Remember I said we are going to be using blue throughout. Then I will now set the transition background seconds. Okay, I'm going to set the second. So I'm going to have transition background, transition background color should be what? 0.5 seconds. Then we should also have something like transition timing function. Okay, that's how we're going to apply this transition dash timing dash and then function. Then by function we are going to put it to the what? Ease. You know what I call ease? Slowly ease in and ease in out. Okay, ease in out. So we are going to have this close here. Then we'll come down again. We're going to have box. The box 3, and then we'll set the hover. Set the hovering, and then we have the background color is going to be green. It's going to be green, and then that's it. So if this is done, we come and then we something on. Let me go back and see why. Okay, spelling timing function. Something is wrong. Let me go back and check transition. Timing function is in out. Okay, there's a mistake here. I'll remove that. See, is in and then is out. In and then is out. So this is how this one will be working. So this is one is called what? Transition by what? Timing function. Alright. So this is just going, I'm just going to make this in short so that you will go home and understand what we just did here today. Alright. So just get the code. Then we will continue. I'm going to give assignment. Take this down. Go and do transition by delay. That's assignment. Transition by what? Delay. Do transition by delay. Yes, transition by delay. That's what you are going to be doing. Go and do that. Okay, transition by delay. So check and see how to fix to get that done. In our next class, we'll be looking at animations. We're looking at CSS animations. All right, so that will be all for today. See you in the next class.